I have pulled this completely back apart. Well, it's 7 in the morning. I'm gonna go to Home Depot. I'm gonna grab some lumber and I'm gonna finish this cabinet today. Hopefully I can put this all back together correctly. I woke up in the middle of the day, which is like the middle of the night for me, and it was just like super hot. Like the air conditioner was running nonstop, but it still felt hot. Like it wasn't getting it down to like a cool temperature. Like the last time I ran the air conditioner in the middle of the day when I was sleeping, it was actually nice and cool. Like I felt like I was sleeping in a house or something. Like the temperature was being regulated perfectly. So I was thinking to myself, like, man, I didn't think it was supposed to be this hot today. And so I'm like looking around and it's like a little bit cloudy out. So it didn't seem like the sun was causing that much of an issue. The temperature wasn't even that hot, but it just felt hot. And then I started investigating a little bit. I mean, I just woke up, so I'm not sure what's going on. And as I was like moving towards the front of the van, I felt this blast of heat. And lo and behold, somehow in the middle of tossing and turning, trying to fall back asleep, or when I was asleep or whatever, I hit something behind me and I turned the diesel heater on. The switch is like behind my head, but not where you would ever, like I've never done that before. And it's not in a spot where I would typically hit it, but somehow I managed to do the impossible and hit that switch and turn it on. And it's not easy. You gotta like press it and hold it for like a half a second. So now the diesel heater is running and it's like 80 degrees out or whatever it is out, so it's even going to be hotter in the van, and the diesel heater is just cranking out heat into my van, and this poor air conditioner is trying its hardest to compensate for my mistake. But that was ridiculous. I think it's getting to be about the time where that thing's going to be unplugged, so there's no more accidents like that. In the meantime, I have pulled this completely back apart all the way down to the first battery because I wanted to redo some of these cables. If I don't do it now, I'm gonna have to go back and do it again later. But some of these cables, I didn't feel like I had them connected the way I really wanted to connect them. I had the batteries connected in parallel, so battery 1 is connected to battery 2. So it was just positive to positive. And then from one of the batteries, I would have the positive terminal going to a bus bar, one of these things, and I'm actually going to I need to replace those. These are like 250 amp, and I need to make sure that I have at least, these are 200, rated at 250 volts, and I want 400 volts so that it maximizes the capacity. If I were to push that inverter to the full 3000 watts, I would want to have this. I would also want to have the proper size cables, which was part of what I was doing. So anyways, you know, the positive from one of the batteries would go to the bus bar, but in reality I've got these 2/0 gauge, right? So I should have 2 of these just to be on the safe side, going from like the battery or the fuse that the battery is connected to the bus bar. And then also 2 of these from the inverter to the bus bar. So I didn't have 2 from the battery, but then what I decided I'm going to do is go ahead and connect, instead of connecting the batteries in parallel and wasting wire, because one wire is going from one battery to the other, I can just take one wire from each of the positive terminals of the battery straight to the fuse and straight to this. The negative will go straight to the shunt back there, and that will that will mitigate, so I only have to use one wire per battery, but then from the shunt to the bus bar will be 2 of those wires, and then from the fuse to the positive bus bar will be 2 of those wires. So I wanted to get that correct. I had to tear all this down. I'm not sure if I'm going to need more of these wires. If I do, they do sell these at Harbor Freight. I don't have to order them online, so I can just go grab some. So hopefully I can put this all back together correctly, and then, well, the only other thing I do once I get it back together is I have to find a place to install the chargers, the AC to DC and DC to DC, and those will probably just sit on the side here in this area. One will be here and one will be here, and I have to build something to stick those there. And then once that's done, this cabinet over here will be rebuilt a little bit to fit this spot, because the spot will be slightly different, and then I can wrap all this up and just be done with it, because this is taking a lot of my mental resources, and I just can't keep, you know, screwing around like this. This has to be finished. I'm tired of dealing with this. And then meanwhile, I've got just a giant bag of miscellaneous stuff that normally would go in that cabinet that, you know, I just have nowhere else to put it right now. So if I need something, I got to dig through this bag. It's just not a convenient thing. So this has to get done for the sake of my sanity. So hopefully I can get this done today. Worst case, it drags into tomorrow or something. But I want to get all of this done, wired up properly, and then start working on that cabinet, fit it back in here, and then that microwave is going to go back on top of that cabinet and things like that, and then I'll be back in business. So let me get back to this and see how far I can get. So it's the next day. I got quite a bit done yesterday, but it did take like 9 hours. I'm trying to figure out now how to hook up the wiring. So this is the DC to DC, and apparently to turn it on, you have to connect a wire between 2 of these little things. That's the on and off switch. And to switch to 30 amp power from 60 amp, you connect another wire between the other 2. So I have to figure out how that works, because I can't figure out how to get the wire in there, and I don't want to break it. I don't know if you have to push, pull, or slide these things or what, but they're not doing anything. So also got the AC to DC installed. See, these are mounted. I have a lot of wiring up here done. Like, this stuff just took forever. My goal now is to, I mean, as soon as I finish this thing, I still have to box this in somehow, and I still am going to put a cover on top of this. But I think I'm going to do that after I put this cabinet in. I think that should be the most important thing, because I may have to take that into consideration to build this thing here. You know, that may depend. This may depend on that, how that is positioned. So I'm going to make that the first priority, and then afterwards I'll finish up this stuff here. Well, it's 7 in the morning, so I'm going to go to Home Depot. I'm going to grab some lumber, and I'm going to finish this cabinet today, and maybe I think it's going to go a lot faster than what I originally expected, because this will be the 3rd time that I've rebuilt this cabinet. The first 2 times took forever because I was just kind of piecing it together in the middle of a forest, and I didn't know how I wanted to do it, but I've gotten some better building techniques and ideas, and this one's going to be pretty simplistic, and I think it's going to go together pretty quickly. So I might even get this other stuff done too, hopefully, if I can do that. Because if I can do that, I can wrap this up and put all this behind me, and then move on to the next thing on my list, whatever that is. I don't even know. Like, this has been taking so much of my mental resources that I can't even think straight anymore. So if I can get this done today, that'll be a major victory. So I'm not going to waste any more time. I'm going to get on the road and get to Home Depot, and we're going to get this started, and then we're going to get it finished. The hell is that? Okay, so I just pulled the van out. I got quite a bit done, not 100%, but most of it. The only thing I really think I'm going to do is add some stuff to the back here and over here, but I can do that. That's going to be easy, and I actually think I want to put it in there first, and then I can add that in later. I mean, I can do that while it's in there, and then anyway, I'm going to hit this with a coat of paint so it can dry, and for the most part it'll be done. Then I can add in some hardware and stuff like that. The microwave will go right there, and I designed it so that it'll fit right across. It doesn't have to have legs like the last couple I did, and it's also designed to be, I wanted it to be removable, so if I wanted to access the back, I could just pull this out fairly easily and just set it like on a table like that, or something. And you know, like if I'm at a campsite or if I'm someplace like this and I want to be able to access the back, I don't want it to be a big deal. So this will just come out, it'll sit across the back countertop, and then I made a spot on the other side by the battery bank. And so yeah, let me just hit this with some paint, and this should be done pretty soon.